Basic Education Minister Angie Motshekga has announced that it'll be left to districts and school level to decide how they're going to catch up on time lost when schools had to close early in June as a result of a spike in COVID-19 infections in the country. There had been pressure on the minister from some in the education sector, namely the unions, to not touch or interfere with the October school holidays. The argument that was made was that teachers and pupils needed to rest after what has been a taxing couple of months due to the coronavirus pandemic. Let's take this up with Matakanye Matakanye, General Secretary of the National Association of School Governing Bodies. Mr. Matakanye, very good afternoon to you. Grateful for your time. Has the Basic Education Department made the right decision?
Good afternoon, Tembekile, and all your listeners, as well as Mr. Makaneta there. We are happy that we have got a listening minister. The minister has listened to us when we said, don't touch the calendar, leave the teachers, leave the children, and go and rest for those few days, because they are working under stressful conditions, anxieties, fears, and all those things. Leave them a little bit to go and refresh and come back and make sure that we continue. And also, we are happy that the minister is continuously looking into the avenues of really to try to cover the lost work. However, we know that 2020 will never be 2021. But we are happy that then the small children have gone back, so that we start now building the foundation within those foundation phase, so that when they still grow up, then we know that as long as we have got a foundation phase, then we know that we'll do that. Because we don't know this pandemic, how long is it going to be with us? Hence we said we must learn to live with this pandemic.
But should the catch-up program be left to districts and schools to decide, given that all of them aren't on the same level as far as competence, leadership and planning?
Yeah, of course, we always said that leave the calendar so that schools themselves can start taking initiatives and see to it what best can they do if they do, because that will be between the teachers themselves, the parents, the children, and the community, as well as the lower level of the Department of Basic Education, and negotiate how best can they do it. If ever they want to catch up, how best can they catch up?
The problem of that gamble, though, is we'll only know the effects in the final results at the end of the year, won't we?
Of course, all the lower level know how far are they in terms of the curriculum. It is not at national level, at the minister's level. It is at the lowest level of the Department of Basic Education. They know. And they've been going on. Like, for instance, I've given an example. I think I was talking to you last time. That, if you leave these things to the lower levels and take initiatives and think how best can they do it. In Limpopo, there is a school in a rural area, deep rural, called Dendron, that small Dorby. When we read through the papers, I think 2 weeks, then they had already finished the syllabus for this year. They finished it. You see? Then because you left that thing to those lower levels, and they saw how they maneuver to ensure that now they cover up the lost time.
The other concern is about the enrollment figures. The Basic Education Department in the briefing today referenced the Newzroom study, which found that enrollment for 2021 is about 400 to 500,000 lower than it should be under normal circumstances. Yes, the department says its own tally is lower, but it's still in the thousands. Do you worry, how much do you worry actually that many of those children are likely lost to the system forever?
We really have to worry. There's cause to worry. In the sense that now, when we talk access every child to education, we mean every child. And even the Constitution indicates very clearly, Section 29, that This is the right of children to go to school, to be educated. We are really worried. When are these children going to go to school? Because if they lose a year, they lose 2 years, they will never. If this child supposed to have started the grade, the foundation phase at 6.5 or at 7 years, then he does not go to school at that time. How does that child go to foundation phase when this child is 12 years of age? So we are extremely worried as parents. We are extremely worried and don't know how best can we do it. Hence, we are calling upon each and everybody in the country, society, community, school governing bodies, parents, and everybody, that let's do best for these children, because if they lose, we are in trouble. Then we may have a lost generation.
Final question, sir. The minister also spoke about how in the pandemic, the system has become even more reliant on communities and parents' involvement in the learning of children and, of course, their upkeep because of the coronavirus. What do you see as the role of parents and the broader community in this final stretch of the year?
The role of the broader communities is to support their schools, support the teachers, support children. Make sure that children are also educated to say, for us to protect ourselves against this pandemic is to continuously put on the mask, to continuously wash our hands, to continuously sanitize, and ensure that we keep a social distancing everywhere we go and avoid crowds, no hugging, no kissing, and all those things. So this is what the parents and communities must do, and also the community must be the example of these children, because the children are a reflection of a community. Children are a reflection of the different homes. So we must be really exemplary to these children. We must walk the talk, and when we are saying wear the mask, then it must not just be talk. They must see us wearing this mask. They must see us washing these hands. And we're saying we must continuously and doing that so that we support the system, we support our children, we support but also the Department of Basic Education. This thing has come to bear. The chickens have come home to roost. We have been saying to them, provide more space for our children, particularly the children in the rural, the deep rural, the poorest, township schools and working class schools. Extend the infrastructure so that now the pandemic has come, then it has exactly exposed that. We don't know what to do. And hence we are saying again, let's hold our hands, communities, and ensure that now, how do we make sure that these children are keeping social distance in schools? How do we communicate probably? How do we negotiate with the local government, the local institution or amenities? If these children to be taken to the churches, let them go to the churches, the community halls, let them take into the community so that they continue learning.
Matakanye Matakanye, good to speak to you, General Secretary of the National Association of School Governing Bodies.